Okay, it's me. Okay, hold on. Let me see. Desktop. Desktop. Bow. I think that's good. Say something.
Hello.
Something.
Perfect. Good. I
Say
love that.
something. Say something.
Good. I love that. That's beautiful. Good. Good. All right. I think we back. Hi. Hi, everybody. Hello. Hey. Hi. Hi. How you doing? It's me.
Mario.
It's me. It's Mom. Hi, everybody. It's been a while.
Boy Guzma.
Good to see y'all. Like, it's been a while since I've done this podcasting bits. So first of all, hi Ryan. Thank you for being here,
Hi.
sir.
Thank you for having me.
Yes. You gonna get this going nice, quick, fast, in a hurry. Cause I know you're a busy man.
Yeah,
Busy
we got a
man.
lot going on, but I'm happy to be here. Like, do you want to go into the history of us? Just like because this isn't just like a random interview, right?
I'd love to.
Yes.
Honestly.
And so
Right?
let's get. Hold on. Let me. Okay.
Wait, I think we should go into him first and then go
Oh,
into
we
us. I
are.
think.
But first,
Yeah.
Yeah.
three. Cam, give me a countdown, brother. Give me a countdown.
That good countdown.
3, 2, 1.
Welcome everybody to episode I have no idea of the Rusty Rupees podcast. It's been a while, but I'm one of your hosts, Darren, and with me I have the boys, Justin,
I didn't have to do the intro. Oh.
Deontay,
We'll call it season 2, episode 1. Oh, damn
Hey.
you! You took what I was gonna say.
and Cameron. Hello, brother.
Oh, hello.
And joining us for this episode that I am returning to, we have the homie, our busy businessman, Ryan. Say that last name. Do it.
Oh yay.
Alyea.
Alyea.
Alyea of Fangamer, of today's topic, the remake for Off. And Ryan, hey, what's up, man? Thank you for joining us. We've known each other for some time through many pack shenanigans and hangouts, and just running
Yeah.
across each other in the show floor with you, Alex, and just doing the damn thing. How's it going, bro?
Doing good, doing good. Yesterday, and of course the reason why we're doing this, yesterday we released Off. And it's
Congratulations,
yeah.
congratulations.
So it's Fangamer's first major development. You know, it's out on Switch, out on Steam. So yeah, we're very happy with everything that's going on. It's been, we were discussing earlier, it's just like, we've done so many different releases. Fangamer works with many different titles, going from Monster Hunter to Undertale to Omori and a whole bunch of other smaller titles,
I've
right?
spent many
It's just
money
a
on
bunch of,
everything you've just listed. All of it I've bought.
All right.
Thank,
Bread and butter,
thank you.
pretty much.
and the
Yeah, we
difference is that, we were discussing earlier is like, oh, now I'm the one that's going through the ringer this time around.
You
Mm-hmm.
know what's so cool is that in one of our past interactions at PAX, maybe over a drink or two or four, you had mentioned like wanting to get more into the actual development side um,
Right.
of gaming, and to see this come into fruition now is just really cool. Like something that you mentioned
God.
a few years ago in a conversation, and now like here it is. You're like doing the thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you
Exactly,
said that, I
yeah.
just thought you were like lit. I thought you were enjoying the night and be like, yeah, maybe I'll make a game. But no, you made it happen.
No, like it was, going into it actually is an interesting experience because as we've been going through different interviews, with Off, and we can go into the history of it, but the very first part of it was I was introduced to it by Toby Fox, who said, "Hey, we should do something for this guy, this game that was really inspirational to Toby." And we are like, "Well, okay, so we can do merchandise and stuff like that." And I went through and played through the game, and I was like, "You know what? I could put this on Switch. Why not?" And then it just kind of snowballed from there because like, well, okay, well you're going to make the game. Well, let's kind of like give the combat a little bit of an update. Let's kind of like add some new bosses and like Toby, we're going to need some music. It kind of snowballed from there, right? You know how scope creep works in game development, especially even for a remaster like this one.
Mm-hmm. And so, as a brief history of Off, so this game came out back in '08, got translated in 2011. And what was it on originally? Because honestly, until you guys started really promoting it, I personally had never heard of the game.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, that's part of the reason why we're doing this. So the game originally came out in 2008, was originally a RPG Maker game, so it was available for free. And in 2008, it was originally only available in French, and had a translation that had come out in 2011, a fan translation that was made, and that's where the game became very popular. After that, it became popular on Tumblr. That's where a lot of people found out about it. That's where you get games like Undertale, Omori, One Shot that really took that inspiration. Because back then, think about 2008, right? In 2008, indie games were still back in the 360 era. And in the 360 era, you didn't really have Steam. If you wanted to get on Steam, you had to know somebody at Valve. If you want to get on Xbox 360, you had to be with a major publisher who had only so many titles that they can do on the digital distribution platform, which was just on consoles, getting very, early days, getting very started on there. And so getting a game out that was out there was usually around the free titles. So that's where you had games like Off, but you also had Yume Nikki and a few other of the RPG Maker games that kind of came out and was inspirational to it, And so in the RPG space, especially the indie RPG space, we always look at Off as kind of like the weird old. I want to make sure I get this correct because this was one of the reviews that had come out was go visit, the RPG, the indie RPG, strange old grandfather. Still has the same bag of tricks, but still very something that you should really respect.
Okay.
That's really cool.
That's
Also, just sort of looking at, this being the first game that Fangamer is actually developing, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't Fangamer itself kind of start off as an Earthbound adjacent website, something like that? I think I remember reading something about Fangamer having some kind of connection to Earthbound. And then you also mentioned Omori, you mentioned Toby Fox, which I know that you guys have worked a lot with. It's just really cool to see sort of these kind of games being at the core of the Fangamer DNA. Would you agree?
Oh, absolutely, yeah. So to go a little into the history of that, Fangamer came from the Starman.net staff. So Reed had started Starman.net a long time ago. I had joined in 1999, so that's a long time ago. And from there, what we did was we created Fangamer. So Fangamer was created in response to, well, what do we do with Starman.net? And the original inception of Fangamer was actually, and you can still see some of the pitch documents on the Starman.net forum if you look at around the same time, was that Fangamer was supposed to be kind of the inspiration to bring a lot of different communities together in either a major community or a bunch of different split communities, right? At the time, it was kind of a good idea, and then 2007, 2008 happened, and that's when the big recession happened. And so it turns out that starting a website that based itself off of ad revenue and community building was not really and doing it entirely on our own, out of our entire pocket. We were not doing any investors or any of that nature. So doing that out of pocket was well, okay, what do we do? So we made merchandise. We made t-shirts, right? So we were originally part of the Earthbound community, and you look back at Fangamer's history and you'll see that we made some very legally distinct, but still very much inspired by Earthbound merchandise, right? So that was the history of Fangamer. And we started out by doing that. And it worked out very well. Things were doing well enough that we could, afford to do that on a full-time basis. And when we got started, we started getting really popular and getting contacts with a bunch of different indie devs and a bunch of different creators and that sort of thing. When we got started, we started working on a bunch of different projects, and a lot of people really liked it. So now I'm going to this is where things get kind of murky because we're talking about 17 years worth of history here, right?
You guys have a wide catalog. Just looking through the game collection that you guys have worked with, this is a big list. This is
right, and so when we work with a bunch of people, we're just sometimes it's serendipitous, and sometimes it's just people wanting to work with us. So for example, technically speaking, Fangamer made the first Minecraft merchandise, and that was through the Two Player Productions documentary. So we had a little creeper windup that we had made at the time. So that was really cool. So we did all those sorts of items, and we got popular with Kickstarters, and so that's where we got into working with Mighty Number 9 and Bloodstained and Shenmue 3. So
Yeah.
that's one of the paths of the company as well. But going back to Undertale, obviously Toby Fox was a big part of the Starman.net community, and so when Toby said, "Hey, I'm going to make a game," we're like, "Okay, whatever. We'll do merchandise for your weird old game. What's this
Oh.
game? Undertale?
Oh.
Well, we'll do some merchandise for that. Whatever, right?"
Really,
And it's really
quick,
memorable. Yeah, yeah.
just to pause really quick, for those who don't know what Starman.net is/was, what is that?
Starman.net. Okay, so we're going a little further back. Starman.net was the Earthbound community. So that was the place to go to talk about Starman.net. So when you're talking about the early internet, we're talking 1999 to about 2005. Before Tumblr, before Facebook, the only way to interact on the internet was through forums. So Starman.net was a forum based entirely around Earthbound.
Good times.
Those were actually very good times.
So that was a website that was created by Reed and myself, who maintained, and that was the big community. And we were considered to be one of the annoying communities at the time because we were heavily promoting Earthbound. We all really loved the game. You might remember the Mother 3 petitions that we had made.
Yes. Yes, I do.
So we had 6 petitions to Nintendo, and I believe some of those petitions had ended up on the desk of some important people at Nintendo. So if you check out on Fangamer, we have for sale the Earthbound USA documentary. So that kind of goes into more Starman.net and kind of ends at right before the beginning of Fangamer. And so it's a really great documentary that was about the fan culture that had existed at the time, because it was really all about like, hey, we have a bunch of fans that's really interested in Mother 3. And this was pre-internet, so the only things that well, not pre-internet, but like major communities and everything like that. Because even back in 2003, you know, the things that you learn about Mother 3 or Earthbound 64 back then, like, only could have come out through what was in magazines, what was available for the journalists on the ground in Japan. So that was the only way that we got information, other than asking Nintendo, who, of course, you know, being Nintendo, only gives you the official press that an OA wants to give you.
It is this. Anything else?
Yeah,
it is
exactly.
this.
Mother 3, what's that, right? Exactly.
That's not real. So it's not real. I don't know what you're talking about. Yeah. PR speak.
Right, exactly. And that was, again, and I'm talking about 2005, so that's 20 years ago. It's a different era these days where you have simultaneous release in all languages. You know, back then, you had games that had 6 to 12 months that were released in Japan first and come out later. You know, that's when, you know, you want to learn about all these different game experiences that you're interested in, especially if you liked Nintendo games or if you liked some of the PlayStation first-party games that were coming out at the time. You know, you wanted to learn from IGN, you want to learn from EGM, right? You learn from all of that. So, and Starman.net was the community that was based off Earthbound, so we, you know, encouraged a lot of people to talk about Earthbound and bring it up, right? So that's where we brought it up. But as a community, you know, after the Mother 3 petition, you know, that was where the community kind of became more focused on, well, okay, you know, Mother 3 is going to happen or not, but let's focus on some of our own creations. And that's where a lot of creativity has come out of it. So you would have Fangamer that came from the staff of Starman.net, who kind of like ran and operated all the bits and pieces of Starman.net, and kind of created, the original concept was like, okay, let's take Starman.net and make that into a community, like a bunch of different communities. We pivoted to merchandise, and that actually turned out to be pretty well for us. But at the same time, merchandise was the catalyst that kind of got us into a whole bunch of other categories. And on top of that, again, we knew Toby Fox, so Toby Fox made Undertale, and so because of that, we are working with Toby on all sorts of etc. things. So, for example, when Deltarune came out a few months ago, Fangamer is doing like the customer service. We're doing the websites. We're doing like all the etc. pieces that you would consider a publisher to do, but we're just, paid by Toby to do it essentially.
I didn't know how intrinsically tied Undertale and Fangamer were, and just hearing all this, I'm just like, look, been scrolling through just the Undertale merch and everything. I'm just like, y'all are the ones. It's all just kind of making sense now, just as you're telling the story, and it's like, oh, this is beautiful. I love how intrinsically tied you guys are
And
with
it's
one
not
another.
like completely hidden information. So, for example,
Of course.
if you go to like deltarune.com and you see like the little link at the bottom for like privacy policy and stuff like that, you end up at Fangamer's website to get like the legal. Like if you look at like the legal stuff that has to be done, that's where Fangamer gets involved.
For sure.
Because once you get above a certain size, you have to follow rules and regulations.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So that's where Fangamer comes in, because once you get above a certain, like I said, once you get above a certain size, lawyers get to be involved, and that's when things become more corporate, essentially, who do have to follow the rules, and we do follow the rules. So that's just one of the things you do, because you can't just you have to make sure that everything gets all of their little check boxes taken care of.
Right. But it's a very organic relationship between you guys and him, though, right? Because you knew each other as just fans of Earthbound, essentially, and then you guys went one way and made Fangamer, and he went and made Undertale and Deltarune, and you guys kept that relationship going.
Exactly, yeah. And so Toby is a separate entity from Fangamer. So everybody says like, oh, Undertale, Fangamer's the Undertale company, and that was actually one of the biggest things that we were scared about, because when Undertale became super popular, we were like, oh no.
You didn't want to just be the Undertale website.
Right, we didn't want to just be the Undertale company. So when we did the first sale of our shirts, it was a run of shirts called the Mercy shirt, and it sold out in like 10 minutes. I was in Japan at the time. Reed and I were in Japan. I can't remember what we were doing. We were doing some filming or something. I couldn't remember what we were doing. But we were in Japan at the time, and that's when we put the merchandise up for sale, because we were like, oh, this is just our friend's weird game. We'll just let the launch crew take care of it while we are out of the country, and sold out in 10 minutes. So we're like, okay, first of all, we're going to need to do a reprint. And second of all, this is going to be popular enough to consider, okay, what do we do from here, right? Our game, like, our friend's game is popular. That's great, but we don't want to be the Undertale company. It's nice to have that, like, experience. It's nice to have that backing, but we had at the time seen a lot of instances of a single title taking over the similar bases. So our first step was really, okay, what can we do to diversify? And we did that from basically minute one. And that's why Fangamer can be considered to be as popular as we are, because we focus on so many different genres. Like I said, we're doing Monster Hunter, we're doing Ace Attorney, we are doing Silent Hill, we are doing Astrobot. We have an Astrobot plush. It's really cute. I love it.
When I tell you, every time you guys send out a tweet or whatever about new merch, I'm like, God. I'm glad I personally know you guys, so I can say names. So I can personally say names and go just like, God damn it, you're still taking my money, Ryan. Here you go, bro. I've got the pre-order in. It's good. I appreciate you. This is an excellent design. I love this. Good job.
But yeah, the diversification is really like what's really important to us, because we really want to make sure that we're not just focused on that.
You're not saying in any kind of box. Like, you guys have such a wide variety where it doesn't matter what kind of fandom you're in, what kind of game you play. Like, Fangamer has enough of a variety where there's probably something there for you.
If you don't mind, could I just, off your website, can I just list off all the?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right, we got Undertale, Deltarune, Hollow Knight, Stardew Valley, Pizza Tower, Mouthwashing, Baba Is You, Banjo-Kazooie, Monster Hunter, Hades.
This is a long list, dog.
Yeah, 3NA, Off, Stray, Metal Gear Solid, Street Fighter, God of War Ragnarok, Brotato, Slay the Princess, Fields of Mistra, and Path of the Teal Lotus.
I just love as you kept going along that list, the smile in Ryan's face, like the corner of his smile just went up and up and up. Like, oh yeah, we did that.
And you know what? That is a short list. That's not even the
That is
full.
it's not. That's just what's on
That's
the
the
front
featured
cover.
list. Yeah, that's the
Yeah,
featured
that's
list.
just
right?
on the
That's
cover.
amazing.
So yeah, we do get in contact with a lot of different developers, right? And so that's why we get that's why when I said at the very beginning of the call, like we've had this sort of experience, but at the same time, I started moving into game development, and it's different when it's yourself versus someone else, especially when someone comes to us and goes, okay, we think we have something big, or we have a community that we can't, that needs something to be done, whether it's a physical game or merchandise or something like that, right? Usually it's the biggest thing that people come to us for. And so when people come to us, it's always like an actual like privilege to be able to help out these communities to be able to do so. And we have our own internal design philosophies as well. So, for example, a lot of our shirts and merchandise, especially like our wearables, is for something that you could wear out in public. So we don't do like big brash, generally speaking, we don't do big brash items. We do something that's either more subtle or more artistic in nature. So, for example, with our mouthwashing stuff, if you take a look at that, there are a lot of pieces that certainly use a lot of the iconography from mouthwashing, but at the same time, you don't know that it's from a video game. You think
Yeah.
it's probably from a cool film or something of that nature
Mhm.
too, right? Or it's something horror related and it's just cool artwork. And that's always been at the core of making sure that our merchandise is actually available to do so. Because that's how we started, is that we started with something that is not that would be you can wear every day and not necessarily at conventions or something like based off of video games. It is based off of video games, but something that, like I said, it appreciates the artwork of
The
video games.
Bloodborne long sleeve with just the Carol runes on it. Mwah.
Yes,
Mwah.
exactly. So if you
Mwah.
know the Carol runes, you know.
Mwah.
Stop.
I'm
Mwah.
gonna say it's something
Peak
is
design.
look at your fellow nerd, and if you know, you know, right? But
Bro.
to the outside world, they wouldn't know. They just think it's
Yeah, it just looks like a
That's
chick
the-
shirt. Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
the difference when the merch is made by people who know the games or who at least care about the games, opposed to somebody who just said, hey, let's take this picture and try to, slap it on a shirt and sell it to somebody. That's something that a gamer can look at and be all like, no, that is some wink nod shit. So
Mm-hmm.
Exactly. That's been a core to our company. And when we get a lot of pitches come to us, we're like, okay, can we put like logo on a shirt? And sometimes that makes sense, but many times it doesn't.
Mhm.
So that's why we're always encouraging that sort of style that gets people to make something wearable, right? And always trying to get as many things as possible. You mentioned Bloodborne, and we focus on the entire off software catalog. So we have Demon Souls, we have all the Dark Souls, we have Bloodborne, and we have Elden Ring merchandise. So FromSoft works with many different publishers, so that actually is a small flex because of the amount of effort that's involved with all the different pieces and parts that are moving.
Mhm.
A lot of people consider that to be like all FromSoft, and that's true. They're involved in the merchandise as well, but also has to go through the different publishers and investors that were working on the titles at the time too.
Right. What was your, if you remember, what was your first big get in terms of your partnerships? What was the first one? Maybe your first venture outside of the indie space where it was like, wow, like we got this partnership. What was the first one?
So I can't remember what the first one was. I remember going back to the story about Undertale and our diversification. One of the things that we managed as part of an important hire was hiring Noah, our director of licensing, was to be able to get many different licenses, right? So while we had Undertale, I think that Noah had brought us this little known game at the time called Hollow Knight. So that was one that Noah had brought to us because he was looking at that title at the time, and so that was one that Noah had brought to us. When it comes to AAA, I think we started with Capcom. I'm not 100% positive on that though. And with that point with Noah, we had the experience to go and pitch to AAA, which is a different segment. You have to follow, rules, regulations, traditional business, follow, there's a lot of pieces, moving parts that are involved more than just, for an indie game, it's easy. You just pitch it to the developer and say, yes.
Yes, Justin.
Question.
Yes.
What does that look like? Like actually going and making a pitch to like a AAA company. Like how do you have like what ideas do you bring to them to where they look at it and go, oh yeah, we can do this.
So we have many different phases that are involved. So we usually starts with the fan gamer pitch phase. So we pitch to the AAA. We say, hey, we are a company that's making our own original pieces. That is based off of the philosophy that I had said before. And these are what we're wanting to do. So we start with a sketch phase. We pitch it to a publisher who usually goes to the person in charge of the series of some kind. We usually get a thumbs up, thumbs down, different changes that needs to be made, and then it goes back and forth constantly. So it goes, okay, so here's the sketch phase, here's like the final artwork, here is the finished product, here's a sample, and then everything is approved from there. It is not that dissimilar to making something and pitching it to anyone or making a piece of merchandise. It's that every single step of the way needs to have an approval.
Got it. That's sick. Kind of a follow-up question.
Yeah.
I'm not even sure if you can answer this, but where do the ideas for the designs come from? Like, who is in their dark back room concocting these evil shirts that make us spend all of our money?
There's
I
a
need to
whole
know.
section of creators, my brother. You see these
I
people's
know.
names on there. If you want to
I
know for
So, some of it is true, and some of it comes from the designers, and some of it comes from internal pitches within the company across all different departments. So one thing that we have is a set of internal software that keeps track of all the different pieces and parts. One of which is to keep track of who in the company is fans of different games. So we would go, hey, fans of Bobori, fans of One Shot, at fans, hey, what's a good idea? And sometimes you would do brainstorm meetings company-wide. It's not just designers. Anybody can join it if you're a fan of the game.
That's sick.
And we do various different brainstorming sessions to be able to figure out what would be a good idea and what would be really cool to do. Now, there's also other steps that are involved because there's also feasibility steps. There's also steps to make sure that it makes sense with whether it's an indie developer or a AAA, whether or not it's a good idea to begin with, whether it respects the brand. That's one thing that we're really important on. We don't want to disrespect any brand in whatsoever. We want something that like really elevates the game in general. So something of that nature. And then we come up with a lot of really cool ideas, especially when it comes to the pins. We always have really cool ideas of pins that have different actions, so that they have magnets or they have pop-up pieces, something that's really cool. So those pop up and then goes to one of the designers who then puts it together and goes, hey, this is actually possible. I can, figure out how to get all these pieces to slide, and then it goes to production and then to get made.
Nice.
Earlier, obviously, I asked like, what was your first like big partnership? Follow-up question to that is, what's your dream partnership? If something that you've been aiming towards, or maybe you haven't started yet, something that you want to aim towards, what's that one big dream yet?
I'm not sure what I can say right now. I think there might be some that will be coming like fairly soon. So, sorry, I don't think I can answer that question quite
Fair.
yet.
That's
Fair
okay.
enough.
Fair enough.
That is okay. And
I
we're
like
okay
that
with
answer more.
In fact, actually,
Yeah.
I agree. I actually think I like the fact that you might be obtaining it even more. Yeah.
Exactly.
Fair
Yeah,
enough.
That's fair.
But all right, Ryan. And so just switch on the thing. So, Mr. Developer, sir, tell us
Yes.
about Off and how this journey's been with that?
So we went into the history of Starman.net, and Off came out in 2008 in French and had a fan translation in 2011 that was part of the Starman.net community, actually. So that was where one of the places to play the game came from. And so they became popular on Tumblr. It was one of the inspirations for Undertale, one of the inspirations for One Shot, one of the inspirations for Omori. Very common to, especially for indie games, you want to be like, oh, I like that. I want to make my own. It's a very common sentiment among anybody that wants to make a game. And so the game got popular. And as I said, so what happened was that Toby came to Fangamer and said, hey, what can we do for Mortis? And we were pitching around. We were like, well, what can we do? And as I said before, hey, what if we just put the game on Switch? So we did. We were like, okay, well, we did a prototype. We're like, okay, that's possible. And then we were like, okay, let's put it on Steam. Let's do updates. I believe I said this already. And yeah, that's where everything got started from there. And then like, well, okay, we did this with this experience. It's been a wonderful, crazy time to be able to go and do this because Off has never had like a major public release. There was no before now. There was no way to really support Mortis in Mortis's work. And one thing that I've been going on and talking to everyone is that the entire project, from Toby to Fangamer to everyone that was involved in the project, this was for Mortis. This was for the love of this strange, old indie RPG that really like was the backbone of a lot of games that everybody knows and loves today.
Yeah,
So
like
Ryan, did you get into game development with Off in mind, or were you already planning to get into game development and then the idea of doing Off just came?
So I've been doing a lot of stuff just personally, probably a lot of stuff that's just not released. And way back on Summer.net, I was doing Earthbound ROM hacks. So I was involved in doing a lot of that sort of stuff. So I was involved in doing a lot of different projects, and then at the time I was working at Fangamer, I did a lot of the back-end tech. So a lot of stuff that you might not see, but there are automated shipping systems, all the different systems that run our coupon codes and our store and the website. And at the time when Off came through and was like, well, okay, what else can I do? Because at a certain point, it's like, what can I personally provide to this outside of updates and making sure that, just little incremental improvements? And I was like, I can port this game. Why not? And so there was more people involved as the project went on. So it was not just me. There were 4 other programmers involved in the project as well. There was a sound designer, animator, combat design, and there was a UI designer as well. So we had more people involved than just myself. So I'm not claiming to be like, oh, I solely remade this game entirely from scratch. No, this was a team
it takes a
project
village.
overall.
It takes a
Yeah,
village.
absolutely.
It does.
Yeah,
So-
it does take a village.
So it does take a lot more to do so, and it takes even more because when we were looking at this about this time last year, I was like, oh, not only we're releasing a game, we have to market it too, right? Because you can't just release a game. You release a game, and is anybody gonna play it?
Yeah.
And so that's one of the things that I've been focusing on here is that I originally came in with technical skills and having to learn the soft skills of marketing, having to learn the soft skills of community building has been one of my learning experiences for this release.
That's good. Because I know that you guys have been kind of promoting it for quite some time beforehand, like just little tidbits, little posts about it, even on the website when I do scroll through it randomly, like there is, like it's kind of highlighted, like, hey, should check this out if you haven't checked it out before. So, but
yeah, that was intentional on my part. We
Yeah.
had decided to do like little drip feeds of little things. We had a whole calendar scheduled because the musicians in particular, one of the big things that unfortunately for Off and that the development team was extremely devastated by was that we could not get the original music. So because of that, there was a bunch of different reasons. Legal, it was unfortunate reality. So we had to remake the soundtrack from scratch. So one of the marketing events was, hey, let's introduce all the different musicians that would be involved in this game. So that's where we had Toby do some music for the game. We had Night Margin for One Shot create the more music for the game, and Morosk, who is a friend of Mortis, create some of the more industrial tracks of the game. And then we also had Banshee Beat, who came from Omori. We also had Camiella. We had Exahava. We had James Roach. So we had a bunch of musicians that we had known to be able to come in and go, hey, I know you guys this game, and we have this
That's
unfortunate
awesome.
situation where we can't have the original soundtrack. Would you guys pitch in and make a track or 10 or 20?
Would you say that? Would you say that not being able to obtain the original music, now that you were able to kind of transform it and like market it this way, do you think it was almost better that, and I don't mean, you know what I mean, like it's not
Right.
better that you weren't able to obtain the original music, but do you think that because you weren't able to obtain the original music and because you had to essentially create the soundtrack from scratch, do you think that allowed for more marketing and like to actually assist with it, or do you think even if you had the original soundtrack, it probably would have been the same?
I'm gonna go with making lemonade out of lemons. That's what I'm gonna go with here, right?
Oh, got it.
Right. If I had the original soundtrack, I would be, you know, yelling off the rooftops, saying,
Right.
we have the original soundtrack. Don't worry
Right.
about that, right? Because we did not, we had to focus a lot more heavily on the history of, because Toby Fox is involved, we had a history of Undertale being an inspiration to the game. And that was a reason why we focused heavily on that as a way to counterbalance the fact that we could not have the original soundtrack, right? So, yes, it did help, but I believe that if we had been able to get the original soundtrack, I don't think it would have been a marketing detriment. I guess I would say, right?
Got it.
It was more, again, more like taking advantage of what we can be able to, in
Right.
lieu of not having something that would be a much more better thing. As I've said before to other people, this remake, this remaster, has not been a perfect product, and we're very aware of it. This has been a way that we can be able to get the game out to as many people as possible, to celebrate the game, to be able to have people support Mortis. And at the same time, we are not stopping or doing anything with the game's original free release. It's still out there. You can still get it. I have no problem with that. What we're doing here is just making it slightly more accessible to audiences that would like to have something that's a little easier to play, something that might be something that's a little more
How was it originally?
challenges. Yeah.
What was its original playable state? Was it more of just a fan ROM that was made, or?
It was an RPG Maker 2K3 game, so it was playable off of any 2K. You can play the game as is because it was distributed, or you can use. There's a few 2K3 emulators that are out there that you can use as well. We had built one entirely in-house from scratch because many of those are not applicable to a commercial product, so we had basically rebuilt our own. Yeah, so the original is still out there. You can still play it, and this is just a way to support the creator. It's a different experience, certainly. And we look at it as a celebration 17 years later, right? Look at this has brought out, essentially. Let's have people a chance to be able to do so. Because at the beginning, you had said that you've never heard of this game, right? And that was another one of our key issues is, hey, this was a missing link between Earthbound and Undertale that I think a lot of people would want to be able to appreciate.
Absolutely.
And with this remaster, we did make changes. We updated the UI. We rebalanced the combat. We have some new elements as well. But at the same time, one of our core ideas was to make this game as close to a 2008 release if you had, say, Switch hardware, right?
Mm-hmm.
This is something that we want you to get that 2008 feel. And so with the reviews that came out, you know, there was one that was like, oh, 7 out of 10. This plays just like the original. There's no changes. To me, that's great. That was what I was going for,
Mm-hmm.
right? You know, we didn't want to go in and do major updates or changes.
You weren't
I
trying to
want
make
you
it
to-
something new. You were trying to bring,
Or
like
make
you
it
said, bring
something
it to the
new.
masses. Yeah.
Right. And then a lot of people go, well, you changed the soundtrack, and that was more of a unfortunate legal situation. But we wanted people
I
to
see.
experience, like, have this same experience that you did back then, because combat has updated. Some combat is great. I'm gonna go and plug. I'm not even related to these people. I just love Jimmy and the Pulsating Mass. If you've not played it, so that's another indie RPG that has amazing combat. Right, everything is beautiful. Right, so you come from off, which the combat was not its core strength, and a lot of people said, "Oh, well, you don't have combat that's modernized." But again, this game is intentionally a time capsule for that 2008 era. We want you to feel that same feeling that all these other developers that had went on to make games that have gone on and been super popular. That is what our goal here was. And I'm super glad that I got IGN gave me a 7 out of 10. Said it was just like in 2008. There's no change. Like, perfect.
You're like,
That was what I was going
that's what I
for.
wanted. Good.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have to ask, what has Mortis's reaction been to all of this? Like, to see the community really like rally behind his game, to find out that his game influenced this many developers. 17 years is a really long time, and so to see kind of all of this come into fruition now. I also watched the video that you had with him where he said like, "Oh, I made this game as a joke to show my friends," right? So like,
Right.
like to see all of this come from, I make plenty of jokes with my friends, right? But my jokes don't then go on to inspire an entire multiple generations later, right? What's his reaction to all of this now?
Now, I'm not Mortis, so I can't, for me to speak for him would be, kind of impossible. Certainly, like, in contact every day, sending messages, that sort of thing. But the biggest thing that I would like to point towards is the statement that Mortis had made at the release. And right before the release, I sent him a message like 12 hours before release. I was like, hey, do you have any, like, last messages that you want to send to the community, which came into the now available post, and said that, and I just want to read the sentence, the first paragraph that he wrote, and he said, in 2008, I was 21 years old. I threw a ball into the universe, never imagining it would return. A few years later, the ball came back and was several kilometers wide. It seems that since then, the ball has never stopped growing, but now we're sending the ball back to space today. I think Mortis, and this is just my opinion, I think Mortis is happy that everyone has had a chance to play this, to be inspired by it, by the theories, the images, the video, the cosplay, the fan games, everything, the community, the player, the fans. I think Mortis is thrilled to have this sort of experience while still, at the same time, still being a relatively private individual. Right. So, and I think more than anything else, I think I think Mortis is glad that more than anything else that it can become something for the fans, the community, right? And to bring things back to why we wanted to go to that 2008 feel is because we know that there is a huge off community. We do know that you guys are going and making your own works, you're making your own stuff, you have your own separate games, and those are amazing pieces of our artistic work. And that's why we focused very heavily on that 2008 feel. And that's where we want to go. We want to celebrate what it was and hand it off to the community and go, yes, this is unchanged as much as we could, while still, modernizing things. You have QOL, you have, You now can do continues. You now have simple, more easier ways of going through like the shop menus and stuff like that. Not major updates, but certainly things that are much more nicer. But at the same time, the community that is around off, we were very careful to make sure to go, okay, we don't we want to celebrate this, but we want to do it in a way that's not like, oh, we're bringing in all these different pieces and parts. We want to go, no, this is a remaster that's making sure that we celebrate the game as it was, so that you guys can go, this is the fan community at large can really use it and take it on their own, right? And make it their own.
And it's
And
like,
so,
I see it as like, this is the game that inspired so much, that has changed how people feel about games, just especially the look of everything. That you look at off and you're like, oh, nowadays you're gonna think this looks like Undertale. That's people's
right.
initial thoughts, but it's like, no, this is where it came from. And you want to keep having that same feel, can now inspire a new generation who didn't get a chance to play it back in the day, who love these games that have been inspired by it, and now can take all those different things and turn that into something new. So it's just another way of just inspiring more creativity at the end of the day.
Exactly, right. The time capsule nature of it is really a matter of, this was what it was, and if that inspires you, great, right? That is what we're really going for here, is trying to get everyone excited for this wonderful, strange RPG that all of us liked back then.
Nice.
Sick.
This, yeah, feels really good. Honestly, just the way you spoke about it, I can tell the passion behind it, and not just from you, but it seems like this is probably a long time coming for fan gamer as a whole. It almost sounds like it's full circle, going back to what started. You know,
Exactly, right? We've been doing a lot of different things within the company. So we had the Earthbound documentary, Earthbound USA. We have run and operated many different Kickstarters, including some of our own that the documentary came from. And we've had some game development. We've had that are mostly like for our own community. For example, Mayonnaise Hole. Not seen or played that. We made a VR version of the game, and you can just go check out mailhole.com and just see the history of this strange, like, it's really more of a physical challenge, I guess I would describe it as. And we made a VR
Mail-hole?
version of it, Mail Hole. It's really hard to explain, but basically it's a mayonnaise packet on a stick, and you're trying to like get it into a really tiny little hole, right? So it's compelling. Like, it's compelling in the moment if you get it, but you have to like be there to understand it. We tried to explain that in our little trailer for this little VR thing that we made over COVID. So that Jack, who had worked on Off after Mayonnaise Hole, he made mostly he did everything on Mayonnaise Hole, so that was a really fun experience to be able to go, hey, to our own community, our own little inbox, right? So that's kind of the stuff that we get up into, and that also includes things like Camp Fan Gamer. I always get a lot of people going, when's the next camp? And it was just like, man, camp was like 10 people's lives for like 3 months. It took a lot of time to set up. If you're not aware, Camp Fan Game is an event that we ran. We ran 3 of them, and they were more than just like a charity event. We ran an entire, basically stage play, where we took over the entire hotel. So for example, one of them, I was the banker. So you had this little fake money, and you come in, and so we had a fake bank, a fake stock market, and we were encouraging people to use the fake money to like do little trades and that sort of thing. Not small stuff, but like artwork and things like that. It was Mother 3 inspired, so the bank was introduced right around when you went to the chapter that introduced the actual DP within the game of Mother 3. So that's when we so it had this sort of connection to the charity marathon that was happening at the same time. So once you got to the section that was like, oh hey, we're introducing money, then we actually introduced money at the in-person event.
That's so cool.
That's sick.
You said 10 people's lives for yeah. I get. Hey,
Yeah.
that's.
But yeah, I'd say that because like it was a lot of like time and effort.
Oh,
in
that
getting
sounds like
set
a
up.
lot for sure.
Yeah.
No, but that sounds fun though. You guys
That
were
does
in
sound
it.
It was
Fine.
Yeah, so we were always asked like, when's the next camp, and we're always just like doing weird things. That's where like the game's development came from. Was like, okay, how can we make this more sustainable rather than dragging a few hundred people to the desert?
So we keep talking about full circle moments, right? Does somewhere in Fangamer's future, does a road lead back to Earthbound Mother? Can we like expect you guys to be working on a remake anytime down the line? Wink once for yes. And
No.
Wink once, please. Yes.
Unfortunately, that's one of the few things is, the statement that kind of brings me about the most was for Itoi, the creator of Earthbound and Mother series, always said, I want this to be an experience for everyone. And just like with Mortis with Off, I want people to go out and do their own thing, right? And not just look back at the past. Yes, we did Off, but Off was also unlike Earthbound, unlike Undertale, Off needed to have that time capsule experience for people.
Mm-hmm.
But Itoi has always said, like, hey, I made this so that we can go and inspire the next set of games, right? So as much as we would like to revisit the history of Earthbound, Mother 2, Mother 3, I personally would like to do so. The Nintendo experience.
Mm-hmm.
We're more interested right now in focusing on what can we do that's new? How can we push the edge even further rather than looking back at the past?
Mm-hmm.
so on that token, then what's next? What's next for you?
What's next? So I've been slowly telling people, like, okay, with the success of Off, I love that everyone is super excited about it. I love that everyone thinks that, despite everything, reviews are glowing. 82 Metacritic.
Hell yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, I'm happy to say that like we've been looking, future forward, and that Game 2 would be a new IP. We would not be doing something that would be based off of something else. So when are you going to see that? 5 years? I don't know. We have some plans, but at the same time, I can't really say much of anything other than, we just released Off. We're going to be focusing on updates, fixes, that sort of thing for Off. But we will have at some point a Game 2 within the next, like I said, 5 years. We got a lot of work ahead of us. But yeah, really excited to be able to one day talk to you guys again about Game 2.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
And I didn't ask earlier, but Fangamer Japan is also a thing, right?
Exactly.
How's things going over there?
So if you are not aware, Fangamer Japan, especially in Japan, a lot of things in-person sales. So, and I was just in Japan for Bit Summit as well, and was able to go visit that in Shibuya, the famous Shibuya Scramble, like 2 blocks away, there is a Fangamer Japan
Oh.
permanent pop-up within the Gigo store, right? So that is the Sega arcade, and inside Sega is permanent pop-up where you can go and purchase many Fangamer products that are there. They're right there for display. And yeah, like that's one of the biggest things that we found with the Japan group was like, yeah, I have a shop in Shibuya, I guess. Fangamer does.
That's sick, man. That is beautiful. I actually, and again, I don't know how much it's changed since the last time I've been there. It's been a while, but I actually have been to the kind of Sega, like the Sega area,
Right.
like way back in the day.
Yeah,
Uh,
as with everything, Japan has changed. I was just recently there. The thing that probably surprised me most was how I didn't need that much cash, at least as a tourist and in the touristy areas.
Yeah.
That's the thing that surprised me the most. I was like, oh wow, why am I carrying this cash on me if everybody takes tap now? I'm going to.
Oh.
Yeah, exactly, right. So like I'm going to Germany next week, and I'm not sure how many euros. Probably like 20, 30, 40 euro just for a hot dog vendor or something, right? But you don't need any cash, at least when I go to like Gamescom or something, because everybody takes tap there. You go to Japan, at least 10 years ago, nobody took anything except cash. And like, I was messaging a friend and I was like, I'm weirded out by cashless Japan. Why does this, right? And I sat there and I laughed because it's kind of funny. It was like a conveni in Japan should not be more convenient than Walmart, which famously still doesn't take tap to this day.
It doesn't.
I
Yeah,
did not
just
know
find it funny.
that.
They don't. You're right. They don't. It's so ridiculous. Why?
You
But,
thinking
but also
Target?
but also Japan, like it's actually kind of scary that it took Japan so long to kind of move over the tap because they're typically technologically industrial in their ways. So it was
Yeah.
weird. It was probably kind of interesting that it took them so long to kind of transfer like that. But they are old school, so they're used to like holding money.
Oh, they love the fax machine is something that's really popular.
Oh.
But what somebody told me,
Still?
was,
Oh.
yeah, still to this day, if you want to do anything banking related, you have to send a fax. Yeah, so
Hey,
with that, like from what I was told, it was like the double hit of COVID and the Olympics. I think was like the biggest double hit to get them to like
that'll work. Yeah.
start really digitalizing a lot of like money and transactions and that sort of thing. Again, I only visited for like a week, so it wasn't like, you know,
You're like, I'm
I
just
can't
doing
really
my thing.
like yeah, I was just there as a tourist. Like
Yeah.
I can't say much, and mostly just like talking to locals on how this was all changing and stuff like that. But it's just interesting how like even within like the few times that I've been to Japan and doing there mostly for and being like, oh hey, this is slightly more convenient for me as a tourist. Again, versus me going to Germany and being like, I'll get 20 euro for a hot dog and whatever.
Right.
Pay everything on tap, put everything on the card.
Yeah. I need to go back to Japan, man. It's been so long.
There's been some good deals I've been seeing recently, so just keep an eye out. So
What
Yeah.
I've been saying, cheap flights.
Yeah, cheap
Man.
flights.
Cheap-
Yeah.
cheap flights, the exchange rate is still good.
Yeah, it's
You
great.
can go find some great. I found some great hotel deals. I found a good cheap flight. So always a good time to do so. But especially like within the past like year or so has been really good time to be able to go.
Nice.
With how busy you are, Ryan, do you still get to play games for fun? And if you do, what are some of your favorite games of this year?
So I do play a lot of games. One of the games that I did play through 100% because I absolutely have to. I did play through Death Stranding 2, all the way to the end. I absolutely have to.
Nice.
I can't remember, like, and so I will go through and play through a lot of games. I see a lot of. So one of the things that's interesting is that I see games that are kind of in progress and then I don't play them after when they come out. It's kind of a bad habit of mine.
Here.
One of the games, yeah.
For real. Backlog reload.
Right, but I've been playing through that. A lot of people got me into Schedule 1 when that came out, so that was really popular. I've been playing a lot of the Friends games, so I've been playing a lot of Repo, a lot of Peak, so it's really easy for me to go in and go, hey, I have hours this evening, what do you want to play? So I've been playing a lot of those. And recently, just because with playing an RPG and an action game, you really want to sit and chill out. Like I've been recently into a lot of visual novels, so a lot of people have been recommending me a lot of different of like that, just because it's a different, more interesting set of storytelling. Because on the visual novel genre, a whole bunch of different styles of storytelling from romance to psychological horror. You get a whole wide range.
I'm on
that
the
you
Ace
would-
Attorney to Danganronpa hype. Like, which was?
There you go. Exactly. Right.
Where are we going with
So-
that? I get it. Yeah.
So that's where I personally have been, and then who knows? I have been under a rock for the past 3 months outside of a couple of releases, so I'm really looking forward to seeing what has actually come out. Like, I'm gonna go to, like I said, I'm gonna go to Gamescom. I'm gonna go to PAX. I'm gonna take my Switch 2 with me. I'm gonna play Donkey Kong just because I haven't had a chance to play that.
Here,
And
here, man. This man Deontay over
perfect
here.
chance to play, yeah, perfect chance to play it. You know, because you can play it on the go. So like, okay, yeah, like, um, it's a little harder because like the Steam Deck exists and I have a Steam Deck, but the Switch 2 is so much more like portable. So.
Does it feel like it's on fire if you run it for too long? So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
no, but Donkey Kong, when you get the chance, it's an amazing game.
I've heard nothing but good things, and I'm like, man, this game came out right in the middle of all of my like media, and like the game was done, but like we needed a bunch of like all the little pieces, because as self-publishing, it's like, okay, we gotta read the website, we gotta update the newsletter, we gotta do marketing, we gotta get all these pieces and parts set up, and it's like I don't have a chance to play games. Now I do.
Well, congratulations, though, bro. You,
Thank
the
you.
team, Fangamer, and all the success and money you've been taking from us for years. For years, I will never not say it. For years, Ryan.
And that's the thing that's kind of interesting about us. You know, everybody's like, "Oh, thank you for taking your money," and I'm sitting here like, we're gonna use it to remaster this game, right? That's what we used it for, right? We're not just like, oh,
And it's a beautiful thing. It's a
you know,
beautiful
we're not
thing to
just
know
like,
my
oh,
hard-earned
we're gonna go
money,
sit-
my hard-earned
we're gonna go
cash
sit
is.
on this and like go and get like 10-room houses or anything like that. We're like, no, we're gonna take the money and put it into weird, strange RPGs.
Hell
We're gonna
yeah.
go do
Hell yeah.
like we're gonna go do weird, strange things like Camp Fangamer. We're gonna put on just like we're gonna take the community's trust, we're gonna take the community's respect, and we're gonna see, well, we're gonna put something out, and whether we make the mark, at least like it's something different. And so
Mhm.
I want something that like, hey, we're not just like corporate people that are like stealing your money and putting things out there. Like we're trying as hard as we can to interact with, work with the games community at large, and just put out something that people can enjoy. And even if it's just the merchandise, I've got a lot of people who tell me it's like, hey, they just love seeing our like weekly updates on merchandise,
Yep.
just because they want to see the art. Which is
Absolutely.
interesting.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I'm like I said, every time I see an update, it's because it shows, and I think that's what makes the website so popular, just with designs. You guys put out physical releases. As you know, as a community, if we can, we will love those. We love to have our physical releases. You have art, you have pins, you have plushies, you have jacket. Like, there's such a wide variety of stuff that you guys offer that, like I said earlier, there's a little bit of something for everybody, and it's not like they're lazy. You see that these are unique designs that you will only get here.
Exactly.
really
We
cool
always
to see.
focus on unique. That's the biggest thing we always want to focus on.
Yeah,
It's
I
been
love.
really
I,
cool as
oh, sorry,
well.
go ahead.
I was just gonna say it's been really cool to see the Fangamer logo pop up at other stores as well. Like you'll pull up a game on Best Buy and it's being published, distributed. I don't know the correct term, but by you guys.
We use the word. I've been trying to use the word distribution more than publishing, because publishing is involved, like you have to do the trailers, we have to do things, and it's really more like we put everything together to put it onto this. And before I was doing the development, I was working directly with retailers, being like, okay, let's talk to the guy at Best Buy, let's talk to the guy at GameStop, let's get my stuff onto store shelves.
Yeah.
And again, it's all in support of the titles that we are doing. We don't actually make that much money off of the retail titles, like, or if anything at all. It's out there so that we can put those indie titles out there, so that like one of our big evergreens is Stardew Valley, and there's been a lot of people who have discovered Stardew Valley just by visiting a Target or a GameStop, right? And being a small part of that game discovery for people that want to be able to, who don't pay attention to games online, has been very rewarding. And for the fans that want to have a physical and have the games on cartridge, like every single one of my Nintendo games, Switch games person, we want to make sure that we're putting out a solid quality like release with all of our releases, and that's why, for example, on off simultaneous day and date with physical, we're waiting until we can get enough patches in that like it feels like a solid
More
release.
complete
It's not
copy,
just, like,
yeah.
you get something that's complete, or at least something that's like would be like worth it to put onto a cartridge that if you would have, you would feel like without, you wouldn't be able to have the patches that we would need to be able to have, right? So I want to make sure that when you get a cartridge, you get something that is playable both in the short term and in the long run. Now, would it be a final version? We don't really know these days. You never know. Bugs always come up out of nowhere, right? I can't figure out if, you never know what is going to pop up. Things happen. Sometimes, we can do additional localizations or something of that nature. Announced that we will do like Italian and German and Spanish, so that's something else. So you can't just say like, oh, it'll be like the final complete version that we're doing. I can't make that strict guarantee. But what I can say is that like, I don't want something that's like, I want something that if you played it and you didn't have the
Update
internet, at
complete.
least you would have yeah. If you played it and you didn't have the internet and there was no way to ever update it, at least you would have a solid game, right? It might not have the Italian language on it, or it might not have the some weird bug that we had found long after release or something like that.
Yeah.
Which I hope will never happen.
Knocking on all the woods.
Right.
Exactly, right? You never want that to happen. But it's also something that I would want to have like confident that if you had this, that this was a solid release.
And so far from what I've been playing of it, I'm enjoying my time. So I haven't run into nothing crazy. So hey, I like it.
Thank you very much. Yeah, it's been especially the past like month or two, we've been doing a lot of testing and making sure that like, hey, like is all these pieces and parts working? So as you get towards the end, you start getting into professional QA, and then like, oh hey, like you do this weird condition and you find a crash, and you're like, okay, got to fix that, got to fix this. So yeah, it's been fun. It's been interesting. The past few months has been just nothing but bug fixes, because once you get all the balance in, once you get done, then it's like, okay, let's find every little piece and part, right?
Gotta that last second hurdle of bug fixes. Gotta make sure, for sure. All right, Ryan. Thank you, sir. We appreciate your time. Thank you for setting your busy schedule aside to come talk to us.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Finally,
Yeah,
in a nice sense.
this was actually a good time because, like, personally, like I've been doing marathon training, so I have a marathon on November and December. So I was just like, okay.
Jesus.
I was just like, this was actually a good time for me, because I was like, okay, I got done, I did my shower, I'm gonna go
Perfect.
after this and go pack for Gamescom, and I was like, this was like like you had pitched like the perfect time for me to go, okay, like actually I can spend an hour resting and just talking to you guys, and then go, okay, well now it's time to go and get packed for my 2-week trip.
Beautiful.
Hey, man.
Glad we were able to
That's mom for you.
Hey, right? That's right.
Yes, you will be seeing these boys over at PAX. I'll be
Yes, sir.
waving from the distance and wishing you guys
Oh,
the
yeah.
best of times. But
Looking forward to chilling, hanging out in a couple weeks.
Heck yeah.
Mhm. But with
Yeah,
that,
very
everybody,
cool.
Very cool. Like, did we meet at PAX first time, or how did we meet?
for
I
sure
remember,
through
yeah,
Alex.
It had to be through Alex.
Yeah.
So one of the biz dev guys at Fangamer, Alex, is probably how we had met, because Alex, just like myself, is just a very solid, just likes to talk to a lot of people, that sort of thing.
Hey, and as you see,
boy.
these relationships have been curated over some years now, and always love the chats, the drinks we share, and just it's every time we go by the Fangamer booth and just see you guys running around, we're like hell yeah.
Oh yeah, you go on Saturday.
Every time, hell yeah.
Just don't go on Saturday on the Fangamer booth. I say, well, please come to us, but at the same time, like you would find and it would be like wrapped all the way around.
Bro, we wave at you. We're like,
Yep, we're like,
Yeah.
hey, we'll
I'm
see
not
you
like-
guys later.
We just walk
Yeah,
off.
see you later. I gotta be here. I gotta be like full out.
Oh,
you
we
know.
get it. Our feet's on
Yeah.
fire by that point too. We're like, we get it. We got shit to do too. So, see y'all later.
Also, you are absolutely correct. Those lines at the Fam Gamer booth be
Crazy.
long, bro.
Now, one
Be
thing I will note.
crazy long.
Fight someone for a menu, just so I can see what's
Oh.
even there, because
Oh,
all the
yeah.
menus are like distributed out.
Every time I come over there, y'all always get on me because you're like, Justin, you go over there too late. And I'm like, I know, but the line be too long on Friday and Saturday. So I got to come the last day. And then by the time I get there, I'm like, hey, y'all got any 2Xs, any XL? Y'all looking at me like,
So, not to discourage anybody, but just so you know, we do have like 6, 7, 8 checkout stations. So even though the line looks huge, it only gets you through like 10, 15 minutes. It actually goes through very quick.
It does.
And at the same time, you know, you mentioned the
Efficient, disciplined.
doing all this piece of parts, right? And you're sitting, and I'm discussing this as a matter of like just the attention to detail we have in just making sure that people have a good experience at PAX despite being in a long line. That is something that we actually have legitimate, you know, discussions about within the company. So yeah, those are the type of like small attention to detail.
Yeah, and you guys also, just to let people know, I think you guys actually have people out there who will go out and hand, like, essentially, like, menus of all the merchandise you guys have at the shop. Like, it's little, like, little pamphlets that you guys hand out for people in line so that they can essentially order their stuff more efficiently.
Exactly, right? And it's like, oh, go check out our stuff. And then by the time you get to the register, you're like, okay, give me this, this, and this. And then we get it to you, and you get through the line that quicker, right? So,
Wow.
yeah, right? Again, it's all in the matter of, like, line efficiency. And those are the things that we actually have hours-long arguments about what is the best way to do this, right? And you're talking about line management at a convention, and we're not a convention company. An
Yep.
online retail sales, right?
Yep.
The conventions that we do are kind of like as a, you know, just for the people that are there for marketing, etc. And so it's not like we're, you know, we don't go to every convention. We just go to PAX. We'll be out, like we'll be at Gamescom, we'll be at PAX, but we don't go to all the really small local shows. That's not really the style of company that we have.
Mhm.
And we still argue about how to do things at PAX. So, you know.
Hey
that's-
man, y'all tend
you
to
know,
be in a
and we come
different
up-
location every time, so now you gotta redirect to how that line's gonna go. Hey, I think you guys
Exactly,
do a
yeah.
very good job. So hey, keep up the good work.
Thank you very much.
And yeah, like I said, like we all said, we're excited to see you guys again. PAX is pretty much like summer camp, just like that one time a year you get to see your friends. So as
Facts.
soon as we hit the corner and see you guys, you know, our arms are gonna be all like,
Exactly.
friends, buddy.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes.
it's gonna be great.
Love it. But thank you for being with us, Ryan. We're gonna call this an old episode. Juwan, I see you, brother. I see you coming in, but it's okay. I'm glad to be here. I was glad to be a part of this. But as always, remember, you can follow us anywhere at Rusty Roofies or Rusty Roofies with 2 Y's on Twitter, even though who cares no more, because Twitter's some hoes.
For old time's sake.
I know, y'all missed that. Follow me anywhere at XXShadowKamiXX. Justin,
Row Ninja 23.
Deontay,
13 cross, spell it out. Don't be lazy.
Cameron,
By Richie, i.e., no why.
and Ryan. Plug all the things. No, you can't finish it, Cameron. You can't finish. I won't let you.
So Offer is available on Nintendo Switch and Steam, available today. And if you want to follow me, you can follow Fangamer. You can just follow Fangamer on whatever channel it is, Instagram, X, Blue Sky, whatever. We're on all the things. If you follow me personally, you can go to follow me. I'm usually by the handle Rofish, ROFISH. Find that on any platform, and that's where I can be followed personally. If you really want to just be super in depth, where I sit there and talk about things and showing off the posters.
Fangamer got some good shit, alright? I'm pretty sure you guys did Shadow Colossus stuff beforehand, right?
That sounds familiar. Yes, I know. I think we've done.
I want to say
I'm not sure that's active now.
I don't think it is. If it might have been that or I am 8-bit. I can't remember, but that's one. But no, like I said, years of Fangamers. You guys are great. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all you guys' hard work. look forward to whatever development goes on next, however long.
Ooh.
Yeah, see, look at all that merch.
Yeah, look at
I
that.
love this
But
hoodie,
yeah,
by the way. I love this hoodie. This is like one of my favorite hoodies.
thank you. Yeah. I really love the Chibi Cerebrus.
I love the Chibi servers. Bro, hands down, one of my favorite plushies.
All right, but we appreciate you guys, and until next time, everybody, stay rusty. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye.
You.
All right, and episode done. And then just real quick before we call it, once again, thank you, Ryan, for
Hell
spending
yeah.
some time with us today, sir.
Yeah,
Busy
absolutely.
schedule, man. You are, man. Bro, I didn't even know Gamescom was this weekend until you had said that. I was like, "Fuck, that's this weekend." Ah.
No, it's usually back to back, and I'm
Yeah.
one of the few
Yeah.
insane people to go. Okay, I'm going to do both, and then I'm not the person that's, at least I'm not doing the world tour, which would be Bit Summit. Then there's something I can't remember what else. It would be Bit Summit in Kyoto, then something, then Gamescom in Germany, then PAX West, then Tokyo. And so mostly like the AAA marketing people that I talk to are like, yeah, I'm on the world tour.
Oh, I forgot TGS is soon too.
That's
Yeah.
end of September, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's the end of September. So a lot of people I know go to Gamescom, right to PAX West, rest for like a week, and then head to Tokyo. And that would be, yeah, that's usually you don't see the AAA marketing people, and it'd be like the marketing manager or something like that. You know, few people are willing to brave that, but I do know a few people that do.
I get it. Shoot, me and Justin did the GDC to PAX East last year. Granted, GDC's like right here for us. I'm like, that's across the bridge. That's nothing. But it was like, okay, doing all this stuff immediately to go to Boston. So it was like, okay, busy all week. I
Yeah,
see.
that's another one that I've done. That one is also kind of brutal, especially for me, because like I don't go to GDC for like talks. I go to GDC for business, and then I go to PAX for business. So I'm doing back-to-back weekends for talking to indie devs, talking to AAA. So like that's when like it gets
You're like, I am working.
rough. No, I am working, right? And this isn't like, oh, they get to. And I'm like, technically, yes, these are all people I do, but I'm also like scheduling meetings, doing business stuff, and especially for PAX, it's always like, hey, we need a spare body because line is stupid long. I'm like, okay, let's get everything going. Do you want me to hand out menus? Do you want me to run checkout? Help that sort of thing, because of course, you know, never enough bodies to get through like 100 people in line.
Right.
Right.
Which is why Justin be lacking in hoodies.
If you see me there, I can get you through. Just
No,
yo.
I had to fight somebody for this one.
Ooh.
It was like I think there was when I got there was quite literally one left, and I think the person next to me also wanted this hoodie, so I had to order it really fast. I was like, "Yo, let me get that one." No. Give me that.
Just snipe this order real quick.
Yeah, we only have so much space too, right? So
Yeah.
like if you look at the Fangamer booth and look at like, you know, we can store stuff in counters, we can store stuff behind the area. We have a second pillar that you see that we have there. The catch is that that's all the space we have because we're not local to the area. So literally what we have is what we can fit inside of that space, which is why things sell out. It's like, oh, are you guys getting more? I'm like, yeah, sure. The warehouse is in Tucson, Arizona, only, you know, a few 100,000 miles away.
You know, like, here's our website.
Yeah, exactly. Well, that's what we do, is that we hand out and say, like, hey, order it and get the same price if you get at the show, right? But it's not the same, and I know that
It's
not.
not. It's not the same.
And I'm pretty sure that's how we met Alex, was him, this exact same scenario, but with the Elden Ring hoodies that year. And Justin's big ass, his size was out, and I was just like, I'll take a small, please. Good times, good times.
That was good times, though.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I got to get going because I got to pack for Germany.
Yeah,
so-
Absolutely. We will not take too much more of your time. Thank you,
appreciate
sir.
so much, man.
Yes, thank you
Yeah,
once
thank you.
again,
No,
Ryan.
I've always had this in mind because I knew I was talking to you guys. Like, I've been constantly talking to you guys, and I was just like, man, like, I know I've been doing a lot of stuff, but like it would just be fun as a treat just to do like a show with you guys. Like for me, it's just like this is part of the fun part. It's just like, hey,
Absolutely.
just like with people I know and just being like, hey, even I just want to just have some fun and just talk about history,
Hell
talk
yeah.
about upcoming things. So yeah, like with you guys, just real fun, really enjoyable. Love
We have
doing
an
this.
open invitation here. You don't have to be promoting anything. If you want to just come hang out and chat, you are always more than welcome, friend.
Yes.
Might take you up on that, but again, I'm going to be working on stuff, so I'm going to be going back to under my rock for another few years. Other than, I mean, we'll see each other in packs. I'm not going to be like
Understood.
entirely-
Exactly.
I'll still be doing biz stuff, but like at the same time, it's like, well, okay, like we got a lot of work ahead.
Well, you already know. You got our support, dog. We right here for you.
Absolutely. Hands down.
We appreciate it. But all right, Ryan.
Absolutely. Well, thank you very much for having me.
Of course, man.
Absolutely.
Thank you. You have safe trips. The boys will be
sir.
seeing you in a week. I wish you all the best of luck. Enjoy.
All right.
Yep. All right, man.
Thank you
safe.
very much, guys. Thank
Of
you.
course. Be
Have a good
easy
one.
now. You too.
Two. Oh, beautiful.
Solid.
Yes.
That's lovely.
Good shit. And oh, that's me.
Super.
That's me.
That's a lovely human.
It's me. No, everything's weird now. Everything's weird now.
Everything's weird.
Everything's weird now.
Switch
Why
to
you
your
turn Jamaican,
camera.
bro?
It's me, Rusty Roofies with guest Darren. No fooling. It's me. It's only me right now. Me on the single screen. Hi.
Oh, this man.
It's
this man really
me.
took us all the way off.
Broken.
Goodbye.
Oh fuck. We're going through all this. You don't remember what your scenes are.
Bro, no,
No,
not,
he does not.
it's not so much I had the right scene, but his camera was on the last square instead of one of you, so I was like, no, it was almost perfect. It's almost like I never left. But hi. See, look, who's on it? Oh no! It's weird. Oh
Darren
no.
was supposed to be our night rain third. He was.
You know what? You know what? Before,
He was.
Or is it in here? Should I bring it in here? Oh no, no.
All right, I'll grab some water real quick. That was such a good interview.
You know what I got? Goddamn. I get up and all these niggas leave. That's some Sam.
I'm still here.
I appreciate you, brother. That's Kizaru though. Nigga,
Strong.
I got it on me. It's just when I get the chance, I'm right there, bro. I still got it on me though.
What you got? What you got on you, bro?
I said when I get the chance, I got it on me still. It's right there. I got
All
that.
right. Bring your ass.
But yes, but hi everybody. Yes, you are coming tail end, so I is about to leave because we are about to end it. Let's see. Are you bro? Okay, yeah. You know what? Gushing session real quick. Fuck it. Gush session. All right. Fuck Simon, dog. Fuck him. I'm not gonna say anything because I don't want no spoilers for it because. God damn it, I didn't know. I didn't know. And I'm very mad I didn't know. But hey, he's all I need to, bro. I swear as soon as I'm done with him, I'm going to just go back to Lumiere and everybody's just going to have death bomb on them. Everybody's just going to have auto death and death bomb. I'm just going to walk into every single fight and just explode.
Yeah, and go die. Yeah. Remember what I told you like a few weeks ago? I was like, yeah, the only thing I got to do is sign. Like after that, I'm good.
I went to Lumiere just to see, and I was destroying everything like they were nothing. I was like, oh, okay. Okay, I'll go back. I'll suffer some more. God damn it. But hi guys. Hi. It's good.
Hi, Mom.
Good to stream. Good to speak with Ryan. Appreciate anybody who was here.
was a great
Appreciate
interview.
y'all. It was.
Oh, motherfucker.
Ooh, yes, it was a great interview. Appreciate him for coming on, for setting that up. Yes, we are playing through off right now as well. That is the thing. Good game. And yeah, but let me.
Good game, good.
Yeah, let me see where. I don't know how this happened. I don't know how this happened. I don't get it.
Mom broke us.
Only slightly. I don't like it.
Mom broke us.
Yes, but we're going to call it here. It was good being on screen for a little bit. Appreciate you guys.
Yep.
Miss you boys. Miss everybody out there. Dwan, I see you streaming out there. I see
Yeah,
Joe streaming
doing the
shit.
damn thing.
Don't worry.
Rose streaming.
I know. Rose already streamed. She needs to get back to her shit though.
Yeah,
Right,
she do.
moving around for Rose right now, but she getting back to it.
This is true. Very true. But appreciate y'all. I got nobody's in this raid too, so I just go call it. Appreciate y'all. Until next time you see my beautiful face again. You all stay rusty, okay? Bye.
Bye.
Peace.